But I could see people feeling like, well, how do I make these into measurable goals? Because those aren't speech goals. Those aren't language goals. So how do you write an appropriate goal once you realize, okay, here's what's going on?
Okay, so that's a really good question. This gets really tricky, and is a dicey topic depending on what environment you're in, whether you're in the schools or private practice or the hospital setting, right? There are certain rules that have to be followed. I think the most important thing for therapists to know is that you don't have to write an executive functioning goal to do executive functioning therapy. You can take your language goal, whatever it is that you're working on, and you can plan out the activity, talk about what you're going to see yourself doing. What does the child see themselves doing with each step? And then we're going to initiate it, and we're going to execute our plan. And then when we're done, we're going to self-evaluate. How did that plan work for us? Did that work? Was the language task, this activity that we were going to do, did it work out? And then what I think is the most important, and I post about this a lot on Instagram, I think the most important technique that we can work into therapy is called reflexive questioning. It really rewires how the child processes information. We should be reflexive questioning the whole way through it. But really, we don't have to write separate goals. You can still, as I talked about earlier, like therapy should be integrated. We can do language and executive functioning therapy at the same time. We can do speech and executive functioning therapy at the same time. It's just in how we structure the task. But we can take any task and turn it into an executive functioning task. I can take Play-Doh, right? One of my clients, she needed lots of breaks within the session. So the bean bin was her, going to the bean bin was her, her free time, right? Her break. And so, but I had structured a plan around how to use the bean bin because we would break and then I couldn't get her back, right? So we wait for Miss Tera to say go. Then I can leave my chair and go to the bean bin and go to the bean bin. Like she'd be like in the bean bin, right? Like all the sensory, right? Needing all the sensory. So
she's like, no, I mean, physically I'm in the bean bin.
I'm going to go swimming through the bean bin. Yes. So, in the bean bin plays when the timer goes off, right? I'm going to leave the bean bin and go straight back to the chair. Now, as the plan progressed, I was able to put more pieces into the plan. So then I was able to put in after the timer goes off, we're going to clean up the bean bin, right? We're going to clean it up and then we're going to come back. But the first few times we did the plan, the timer would be going off for 2 minutes and there was no awareness or perception that the timer was going off, right? So what would I do? I would reflexively question and I would say, I would have the child, thoughts here. Where are your thoughts? Thoughts are on the bean bin. I need thoughts here. Great. What did our plan say about when the timer went off? Oh, we don't remember. That's okay. Here's our plan. Plan over here. And I would draw pictures if they weren't reading, right? After the timer goes off, what's next? Then we're going to come back to the chair. Then we have the chair. That's right. Okay. So when the timer is going off, what do we do now? We're going to go to the chair. You're right. Good job. You're right. We're going to go to the chair. Okay. You ready to show me that? Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's go. So I would structure everything to be working on the executive functioning system, whether it's break and it's something fun, or, whether it's an actual structured task. But if sometimes I do write specific, if I have a child who doesn't really have any language concerns or other academic concerns, well, there's usually some kind of academic struggle going on, right? But nothing glaring that if executive functioning is what I'm targeting and only targeting, my initial goals will usually look like having the child generate, initiate, execute, and self-evaluate a plan for a desired task. That's where I'll start. And I'm going to take data on those different points, right? Generating, initiating, executing, and self-evaluating. So for a desired, and then I'm going to work that up to being able to generate, initiate, execute, and self-evaluate a plan for an undesirable task. And so I'm going to scaffold that all the way through. But being able to reflexively question through all of that is really, really key, because it's what changes. It's wiring that child's inner voice to help them self-regulate.
Absolutely. I'm just imagining this little girl doing the backstroke in the bean bin while the timer's going up. He's like, exactly. I don't have a care in the world. I'm very happy.
I'm like, how do I get enough Lysol into the bottom of the bean bin to sanitize? This was pre-COVID, by the way.
I'm going to tell you, Tara, there's not enough Lysol. Okay, I've had rice in bean bins before where you're cleaning it out. You're like, I didn't put that in there. I don't know. That wasn't for me. I would love also to know, can you give an example of the reflexive?
The reflexive questioning. Okay, so reflexive questioning, we're literally reflecting back a child's response. So the key to reflexive questioning is that we're responding to the child's response, not to what we want them to do or to say, but whatever came out of that child's mouth is what we're responding to. And this is so important because, an example I use all the time is I say, if someone's, if somebody's lost, if you have a friend who's coming to visit you and they get lost and they're driving right to you and they call you and they say, I'm lost, I can't find my way to your house, what's the first thing you ask them?
Where are you?
Where are you? That has to be the first thing we ask our students. Where are you? I'm going to meet you where you are.